Hey everybody, I am Dr. Laina.
I'm Dr. Jamie.
And we're both chiropractors, and today we're going to explain to you a little bit about how to use the neck wedge. We're going to explain to you who can benefit from this neck wedge, the best practices in using it, and most importantly, how to ensure you're not using it because you don't want to cause yourself any harm. So for starters, who could benefit from one of these neck traction wedges? Well, unfortunately, the answer is most people these days. So a very healthy neck is going to have this type of arc to it, this type of curve. But what we're seeing these days is because everybody's got their head so forward that most people's necks look more like this. So their head is coming forward. There's a lot of strain in the neck. They're getting chronic headaches, pain in the base of their neck, and of course, that hump developing in through here as their body is trying to hold up their head. And so this traction wedge is such a gentle and effective way to actually fix that problem, to get that natural curve back into the neck, to alleviate your headaches, make your adjustments last longer, and of course, just start getting rid of that hump and feeling a whole lot better. So we love this one. We're going to put it in the link below because it's extremely gentle, and it not only is going to help that neck, but it's also going to help open up the shoulders a little bit to correct your posture overall. So again, this is one of our absolute favorite devices for fixing your posture long-term. There are two different ways that you can use this posture wedge. So we're going to show you the beginner technique and then move on to the more advanced technique. If you received this posture wedge, whether you purchased it at our office or you bought it on Amazon, you're going to notice that on the back there's instructions. One of them is circled, one of them has a line through it. You can actually use it both ways, but the one without the line through it is the beginner way to use this posture wedge. We've been in contact with the manufacturers of this posture wedge who agree with us that it can be used both ways. It's just that the way that doesn't have the red line through it is something that would be comfortable for all people. But we're going to show you both beginner and advanced ways to use it. The beginner way to use this posture wedge is to take the corner that's been cut off in through here and point that towards the top of your head. So I'll show you in a moment with Dr. Jamie. And then what he's going to do is he's going to take this area with the cutout in through there, and he's going to put it right at the bottom of his neck, where his neck meets his upper back. So it looks like this. Yep, you can see now that his head, I don't have that quite straight, but there you go. So you can see now that his head is able to rest on the wedge, and this is very comfortable. And unless you really have a significant amount of arthritis in your neck, this will be comfortable for all levels. Again, as always, please start off with your knees bent, with your arms open and resting to the side. You can open them up like that, or if you're more comfortable, you can rest them on your stomach. Make sure that your body is relaxed on the ground and that this isn't causing any pain or any stress in your neck, that it's simply allowing the front of your neck and your chest to open up as you regain that neck curvature, allowing your neck to feel so much better in the long run. When you can comfortably lie on the wedge for 10 minutes with it positioned this way and you feel very little stretch in the front of your neck and in your chest by doing so, you're ready to graduate to reversing the wedge for a more advanced stretch. The second way to use the posture wedge is actually to turn it around so that the area that's been cut off now faces your feet, and the top part is where the cutout is. So the higher up he places this angle right in through here, the less stretch he's going to have on his neck. So I'm going to show you. Can you lift your head for 1 minute? If I move this down so he has it closer to the base of his neck, do you see how much more stretch there is in his neck? So think of 3 different levels. The first level is right up at the top of his neck. The second level will be in the middle of his neck if I pull it down a little bit. And then, of course, the third level would be where we showed you before, right at the base of the neck. So by the base of the neck, I mean the area just above that bump that everybody feels that they have in through there. Just above that would be level 3. So if you're a patient of ours, speak to one of us about where to start. Otherwise, I highly recommend you start with the highest level in through there and just get some gentle stretch before you move the wedge down as your neck flexibility and your neck curve improves. So the other benefit of this device is that along with stretching his neck, you can see that it's opening up his chest and it's opening up his shoulders. So in terms of how he's lying, in an ideal world, he's going to have his palms up. So when you turn your palms up, you open up the chest while you're lying on this. So he's just got his arms at his side, but as you progress, if you're extremely flexible, you can put your arms out this way, and you can see what an amazing stretch that is through his chest, through the front of his neck, and of course, improving that neck curve as well. In terms of his lower back, he's starting off keeping his knees bent because that allows his low back to be very relaxed. If you're very flexible, as Dr. Neely is, you can straighten your legs. And the key for this is when he straightens his leg, if he feels his low back or his pelvis pulling up off the ground, like there's any tension building there at all, he's definitely going to want to bend his knees. But if you don't feel any of that, you're certainly welcome to have your legs straight while you're doing this. All that there is for him to do while he's lying here is just relax and let the wedge do its work. We're going to recommend that you start off with 1 minute. So simply 1 minute of this wedge. Just set a timer, listen to your favorite podcast for a minute, anything like that, while you're just focused on some gentle breathing, nothing too fancy, and you can work your way up to 10 minutes. If you're comfortably lying on this wedge in any position for 10 minutes, then it's time that you can, for example, if you're at level 1, you can take the wedge back down to level 2, go back to a shorter time span of only 1 or 2 minutes, and work your way back up to 10 minutes. You can do this wedge both morning and night. If you'd like, after work, it's an amazing thing to decompress for the day. Another great way to get your neck warmed up before a busy work day. One of the things that you'll notice while Dr. Neely's on this wedge is that his head is hitting the floor. It's rested very comfortably on the floor. So what don't you want to do while you're on this wedge? You don't want to have this wedge in any position that your head is hanging in midair. So if he wasn't quite as flexible, his head wouldn't quite make it to the floor. The other thing you don't want to do with this wedge is you don't want to start off with too much time. It's incredibly comfortable. So people think, I'll just start with the 10 minutes. Your neck muscles are not used to being in this proper alignment. So it's really important to give them an opportunity to get used to this new, healthier way that we're asking them to hold the bones. The other thing that you don't want to do when you're on this wedge is you don't want to get off it incorrectly. So in terms of getting off of the wedge, here's what you don't want to do. Just sit yourself, that's what you don't want to do, or you'll get an extra appointment in our office because you'll need an adjustment. You've just allowed the muscles and the bones to do some pretty significant work while you're lying here. And so it's very important that the way to get off this wedge is just to roll, but you bend your knees if they're not already bent, roll onto the side, and just push your self up that way. That way you're not taxing these neck muscles that you've just used while you're lying on the back. The other thing, we're gonna have another video that we'll link below that we're making, because the other thing you don't want to do with this neck wedge is ever use one that's too hard. One that's too hard can often cause more damage than good. We have looked through many, many different and tested many neck wedges before we recommended this one to our patients. We think you'll find it incredibly comfortable and that you'll get great results when it comes to your headaches and your neck pain. If you have any other questions about neck wedges or anything involved with them or anything else that can help improve your posture and help you feel better, please ask us in the comments below. And if you like this video, we'd really appreciate if you press subscribe to our channel or even like the video. And have a wonderful day.